back to Buffalo Bills pregame week 13. The Bills home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Seems like these teams are both bottom feeders of their divisions, and we play each other a lot.
Yeah, every year we've played them since at least '08.
So, big story this week. Mike Mularkey comes back to town along with Paul Posluszny, both former Bills, both kind of left on their own fruition, and on their own terms. Do you think that these two players returning, or player and coach returning, has a big impact on this game?
I mean, not so much Posluszny, but, well,
I mean, we watch Posluszny play. He doesn't have a lot of impact on any game.
True, that's kind of what I'm getting at. But with Mularkey, I mean, we once they changed the regime and got Donahoe out of there, they were like, Mularkey's just like, you know what? Head coaching job for the Bills, unemployed. And he went with unemployed. So, I mean, and now granted, he did get picked up to be offensive coordinator for Atlanta and whatnot, but, like, how horrible is that for anyone who out there in Buffalo, especially people who are struggling for work in Buffalo? I mean, I'm really thinking of the city right now, who wants jobs, and here's this guy who gave up the head coaching job of the Bills when the Bills weren't doing that bad.
Probably one of the highest salaries in town. I mean, top 1% in the city of Buffalo.
Yeah, we're not even kidding here. So, I mean, it's just, like, it's just mind-boggling that you would give up a head coaching position where the team's not doing bad. I mean, when Bledsoe almost came that close to getting us into the playoffs in '04, that's just something to think about,
He did blame the media here in Buffalo for this being, like, over-scrutinizing him, and a particular Buffalo news writer specifically who's couldn't seem to be happy no matter what he did.
Well, I don't know. I just think it's funny that he replaces Jack Del Rio down in Jacksonville, and now has 2 wins under his belt in this first season. I mean, I think that's hilarious. It shows, and Atlanta's doing better without him as the coordinator. So,
for sure.
I mean, like, Mularkey, I mean, you should have just stayed in Buffalo, man. You could still be here, man. Like,
riding the gravy train.
Exactly.
We don't have high expectations for our head coaches either. Now, the Jaguars have beaten the Titans, who we lost to. They almost beat the Texans, who we did not almost beat. Do you think that Jacksonville maybe is a better team based on common opponents, or are they just playing well against their own division?
To be honest with you, I think they're just playing well against their own division. Because, I mean, Andrew Luck was still in his beginning stages when they beat him week 2 or week 3 or whatever, so that was their first win. But they recently played really good against the Texans, and then they beat the Titans, and that just seems more along line of the division. You know what I mean? Like, how many years did the Texans almost beat the Jaguars and they were good? Now it's kind of being transversed, and I don't know. The Titans, they're still trying to screw around with Locker, and now the Jaguars, they actually have an established quarterback, Chad Henne. I can't believe I actually said that. But
congratulations for Chad Henne for getting permanent work.
Yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick looked terrible this week.
Yes.
Is there anything we can do to get him off the team before Sunday?
No. Next question.
That's all I have. Offense, I don't know what else to talk about. We know that we want CJ to get the ball more, and Chan Gailey seems to be opposed to that. We know that Fitzpatrick is not adequate at quarterback, and he seems to be the quarterback that this administration for the Bills has tied themselves to and aren't going to back off that. So I don't know what else. I don't know what to say about our offense.
Okay, with our offense, I mean, when you look at the Jacksonville defense, okay, let's get a little analytical here. Look at the Jacksonville defense; they're really, really bad. I mean, simply put, they're a horrible defense. And if we're able to actually give C.J. Spiller the ball, we might actually pull off some good offensive yards. But I got to admit, Randy, the offense has not impressed me at all the last 2 weeks. Like, it just seems like we struggled to get 1 touchdown against the Colts, and the week before we couldn't get any touchdowns. I don't know where the touchdown thing is going, but it's just we just can't punch it in there, and it bothers me because, like, we should be able to. We're down there. We should. How many touchdowns should we be getting and not field goals? It's ridiculous, and Chan Gailey doesn't even realize that you can kick a 50-yarder.
Ryan Lindell can't be counted on for a 52-yarder indoors. It's kind of embarrassing when the man kicks at Ralph Wilson Stadium where the winds are so erratic.
True.
You'd think that he'd be kicking 63-yarders there at an indoor stadium. Defensively, Mario Williams stepped it up this week. He made it back to the table. The secondary is clearly terrible, but they're going against a Jacksonville offense that has struggled. What do you think of the defense's chances this week?
Surprisingly, I mean, even though I think that it's a divisional reason why the Jaguars have been stepping up lately, you can't ignore that a lot of it has to do with the change at quarterback. Blaine Gabbert goes down, Chad Henne comes in, and now all of a sudden they're doing pretty well. Justin Blackmon, their first-round rookie, he's starting to step it up a little bit. Cecil Shorts is starting to come into his own. They've gotten used to the fact that Maurice Jones-Drew has been hurt. Their running backs are not impressive. So they're going to stick to the passing game, and Chad Henne has a good arm, so they're going to be throwing it downfield. And unfortunately, against the Bills, whenever anyone throws it down the field,
they have success.
They have success. So I'm serious. I'm really worried about the offensive powers of Chad Henne this Sunday. It's so sad that I have to say that. Like, I think I don't know. Gilmore and McKell have to step it up. I mean, hopefully, maybe rookie versus rookie, and with Gilmore and Blackmon, we can establish something there. But
now the Bills' playoff hopes are abysmal at this point, but they're not gone completely.
No.
Sitting at 12th place in the conference, with a number of teams ahead of them. The Indianapolis Colts in the lead in the wild card, who they now do not have a tiebreaker against, and then a number of other teams. Is it time to start looking at scenarios for wild card implications, or do we have to win every game from here on out?
We got to worry about winning right now. You know, I mean, we really need get the wins going and get to 7-7 at the very minimum before we can even start thinking about playoff scenarios again.
Of the 6-7 teams ahead of us, I think we've lost like half of them already this season. I don't like our chances of being in the wild card, and we'd lose to whatever division winner we'd play as the last place division wild card team, and I don't think squeaking into the playoffs to lose a road game is huge progress for us. I'd much rather see us lose these next couple games and work on improving this franchise.
Man, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is right now. I mean, both sound, not making the Super Bowl, but not
making the Super Bowl. You're really
not
talking about that? But I mean, like, that's even enters our lexicon.
If you make the playoffs, you have a chance to make the Super Bowl.
The Bills making the playoffs this year does not have a chance to beat the elite teams in the AFC.
Yes, it does. I mean,
Under
it's possible.
It's
possible.
What evidence have they shown you?
It's possible.
What evidence have the Bills shown you that they are capable of beating a top-tier team in this league?
They've almost beat the Patriots. They competed pretty well against the Texans. I mean, if those field goals were touchdowns, like I mentioned before, they might actually win that game. The only real game we lost was the San Fran game. Like, every other game, for the most part, is competitive. We were there. So, the Bills are a lot better than people think. I know I'm spinning my wheels here, but that's why playoffs, just that chance that we can make the Super Bowl, I wish we had that. I wish we could say we at least had the chance to fail at that. We don't even have the chance.
I disagree that the Bills are better than people think they are, based on the fact I've watched these games.
They haven't watched these recently.
Games.
No,
I've watched these last several seasons. They are a slightly below average team on their best days. Keys to the game, Jared. What do you think the Bills have to do to win this week against Jacksonville Jaguars?
I'm going to say something different than I normally say. I think we need to stop them in the secondary. The teams pass all over us, and we have a pretty decent passing attack against us this week, and we need to actually defend the pass in the backfield. I mean, that's what's going to happen. We need to actually look like we know what we're doing back there.
I haven't really taken a lot of time to talk about how I feel about Chad Henne over the years. But I think he's comparable to Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I've said a lot about Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I think with two bad quarterbacks on the field, it's important to win the turnover battle. I think if we win this turnover battle, Fitzpatrick manages not to botch things up too bad, and Henny gets some pressure in his face. Say what you will about our secondary, Jarris Bird can find interceptions when they're available, and Henny seems to be a vine that is ripe for that. So I say the Bills win the turnover battle, and I'll take them to win idiotically, and I'll be throwing my popcorn at the TV. I pick the Bills to win 32-24.
You actually have popcorn in the Bills game. That's interesting. You're never going to believe this, guys. I'm actually picking them to lose. They haven't shown me anything in the last 2 weeks that tells me that their offense is going to get it going. And the Jaguars have stepped it up there. They're riding the mass times velocity into that game. So it's going to be 24-17 Jaguars. Oh, this hurts.
I hope you're right.
I hope I'm wrong.
Well, we'll be back next week when the Bills play
the Rams.
The Rams?
Yeah.
I don't even know. That's going to be an exciting matchup. The dregs of the AFC and NFC pitted together in the toilet bowl. Oh, we're terrible.
Yeah, we are.